Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session. For the past couple of days, we started the interview bootcamp, and we basically talked about, types of interviews, and we talked about some common questions, interview questions you must have heard, and how to tackle such questions. Basically, we broke down what the STAR method of answering interview questions is about. And we went ahead to talk about some common mistakes you could make in interviews. We talked about how to properly negotiate when it comes to salary negotiations. So today we are going to put to practice what we've learned. And so we understand what we've so I understand if you've followed all through, right? I believe you can see my screen. Basically, so today we are having our mock interviews and feedback. So I'll ask some questions, and I'll give us time to respond as interviewees, and would get feedback from me, take corrections, and see how best we can improve. So this is what we are going to do today. I'll simulate real interview scenarios. I'll provide constructive feedback on your performance and based on your answers, what I think you should do better at. Of course, identify areas of improvement. Then, of course, I'll give you time to ask questions if you have questions to ask. Then, if we have time, which I think we should have, we'll go ahead to talk about, tailoring your approach to different industries. This is very important. And I'll tell us why I think this is very important. Then, of course, we'll try to summarize all we've done in week one. I'm looking at how we can end week one today or tomorrow. So if we can end week one today, we don't have to have a class tomorrow up until the schedule for next week starts. I think it will help us better that way. Okay, so let's go ahead. And start with our mock interviews. Okay, so my first question would be, tell me about yourself. If you are ready to go ahead, again, we are using the STAR method. We talked about that. If you are ready to go ahead, please, you can raise your hand so your mic is unmuted, and you can give it a shot. Again, please remember that this class is more practical than theory. So we do not want to waste so much time talking so much. We want to spend our time doing what we ought to do. So please, the question, tell me about yourself, is on. If you like to go first, please raise your hand. Remember, for this question, I said you start with your past. That's the formula I gave. Start with your past, your present, and your future. Your past is your past role related to the role you're applying for. Your present is, of course, the role you're applying for, and your future is what you have to give on the role you are applying for. I believe we took our time to go through the previous session just in case we missed any of them. Please, let's go ahead. Tell me about yourself, but if you're answering this question, you probably want to tell me the job title you are going for. That would help. Thank you. If you're ready, please let me know. I'll post this recording. Hi, Choma. Okay, so you can go ahead.
Okay, so I'd like to try. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, go ahead.
All right, good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity. Okay, so the way I understand the Tell Me About Yourself, I listened to the webinar replay. So from what I understand, you said past, present, and then future. So I'm applying for the hypothetical role I'm using is a role of a digital marketing specialist. So my name is Choma. I'm currently a content marketing specialist at Empowering Careers. In my past role, I was the marketing manager where I spearheaded product launches and marketing campaigns, one of which was instrumental in increasing brand visibility and contributing to the bottom line results. My goal is to get a digital marketing role where I can contribute to increasing brand visibility and where I can contribute to increasing brand visibility with all of the skills that I have used, leveraging on the skills and experience from my past roles. I didn't rehearse that, sorry, but in a nutshell, something like that. I wrote down something.
Can you go over it again?
Let me go over what I wrote, actually, what I had written down before. So you tell me that, okay. So my name is Chioma and I have 9 years of experience across marketing and sales. Over the years, I have built a track record of leading high impact campaigns that drive growth and enhance brand visibility. My last role was at Push Center, where I successfully led a product launch that delivered 300% ROI and filled the order bank for the next quarter. I am highly proficient in leveraging customer insights to create targeted marketing campaigns that improve engagement and customer loyalty. And in addition, I'm also proficient in budget management, PR, and digital marketing. I currently volunteer as a content marketing specialist where I help generate leads and drive engagement for an upcoming virtual job fair. So my ultimate goal is to become a digital marketing specialist and leverage on all of my skills and experiences to help drive brand growth and visibility for this new organization. So okay. That's it.
I think that's perfect. I don't think there's anything I have to make corrections about. I think that's perfect. But you need to understand that in an interview, because you had to take time to write this down, right?
Yes.
But in an interview, of course, you will not have the time to write anything down. So you need to, should I say, get into character. So as interviews are concerned, sometimes the questions may come, spontaneously. It may not even be the kind of questions you are expecting, but they just come. So while it's good to prepare, I tell mentees to take their time out to prepare and write down whatever answers they think they will have. But at the end of the day, during the interview, you are not going to be reading from a book. You are going to be answering from your mind. So you want to probably, for a question like tell me about yourself, which is most likely the everyday interview question, you want to take out time to go through again. You can do it on your own, face your mirror and speak to it. You can do it on your own, video yourself and see how you do, then replay, hear yourself, look at the mistakes you've made, try to redo it again. That's how you can get better. Okay, I think that's perfect. That's perfect.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would want to give a try before we go to the next question? Okay, that's great, Shoma. My next question would be, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Or can you tell me more about your strengths and weaknesses? Any try? Any try? If you have it, if you want to try, please go ahead. We'll do take this question and one more, and then we'll move on so we don't spend so much time.
Okay, I'd like to try again if it's okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So my strengths include being adaptable, that is being able to adapt to whatever the situation is in order to meet the goals for the team, being a team player, being able to collaborate and communicate effectively with my team in order to deliver on team goals, and also being a fast learner. So that also means that I'm able to learn quickly whatever tool that is needed to be used and also use it effectively. Now, I have a major weakness when it comes to leadership. So prior to now, when it comes to delegating tasks or carrying out tasks, I'm hands-on, so I would rather do everything myself. And along the line, I found out that it leads to, deadlines being delayed or not being able to achieve your goals since you are the one carrying everything by yourself. So I have learned to carry along my direct reports, delegate tasks, and follow up on the task that is being handed out to ensure that they are doing it the way that you want it to be done, so that at the end of the day, job is done exactly the way you want it, but you don't have to do it yourself. And that way everybody, can contribute and then get the job done. So my weakness is not being able to delegate effectively, which I am working on and which is being improved. And my strengths include being adaptable, being a fast learner, having good communication skills, and being able to collaborate effectively in a team. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. I see you had time to go through the previous session. That's great. But at the same time, you need to understand that if this is a leadership role, this may call for concern. Why you say you are still working on it? What if I'm hiring and I do not want somebody who's still working on that part, because this is a leadership role you are interviewing for example, and you will need to lead a team on the get-go. I will probably not have a lot of time to see how you've worked on that. So you may want to sometimes, depends on the kind of interview, you may want to pick what you and strengths wisely. Again, if you are interviewing for a role such as digital marketing specialist, you want to pick strengths that are related to that role, right? You want to pick strengths that shows you are skilled on that role as well. And again, your weaknesses, whatever weaknesses you are picking, you shouldn't be shooting yourself on the foot. So that's my feedback.
Okay, thank you. Understood.
Okay. Okay, so maybe we'll just take one more. And then we'll move on. Okay, so my last one, my last question for today would be, why are you interested in this position, or why are you interested in this company? Just like I said in our previous session, both of them, they're the same thing, the same question. You can go ahead and shoot if you're ready, or raise your hand if you are yet to be unmuted.
If that's okay. Can you hear me? Can I make an attempt?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, I was muted and I was still speaking. Didn't remember to unmute. Yes, please go ahead. Let's hear you. Shoot.
Okay, so for this question, I understand that before we answer this question, we need to understand where the company is at, would have done the research and tailor our answers to this company. So I'm just giving a hypothetical answer right now, where I would like to work for this company because I admire their innovative approaches to digital marketing. And based off my experience and my skills, I believe that I am a perfect fit and that I can contribute to whatever they are trying to achieve, with their digital marketing, and help them meet their digital marketing goals, while at the same time, learning from them how best or how they are doing whatever it is that they are doing, something along those lines. I haven't rehearsed this properly. Sorry.
Okay, so I believe you have the idea anyway. We'll do more of these mock interviews. So this is like our first shot. We'll create questions per let's say per attendee. So we are creating like niche specific questions. Then you can do a video recording and send. So we do feedback. That's why I want us to do a lot of all these theories. Let's try to finish week 1 today, so that I think our next class is supposed to be tomorrow and then Tuesday. We'll use that Tuesday from tomorrow to Tuesday to do more of the practicals than having this session. So you'd have time to perfect what you need to perfect. Again, we need to understand the fact that interviewing is an art. You get better by the day. It's as time goes on, you get better. So at the beginning, you may get, should I say, stage fright? You get afraid. You get nervous, anxious, and all of that. But as you keep doing it, you keep getting better. And one way to get better is, of course, mock interviews. So That's being said, I believe we've taken some feedback, we've learned some things, and would implement, especially because we'll have more of these mock interview sessions. So let's move on. So we see how we can conclude week 1 today. Let's talk about, industry-specific interview tips, right? If I'm interviewing as HR manager, for example, there are certain things, terminologies, keywords that will be expected I'll be talking about. So I'm not just talking as a layman. I'm speaking from my wealth of experience, if I will put it that way. And those things are expected from you if you are interviewing for any role, right? If you are interviewing for a digital marketing role or content specialist role, what are the things the interviewer would want to hear? Now, if you are interviewing for HR role, for example, the interviewer would want to hear certain words from you. That is what will give you the job. So you're not just going to speak like somebody who isn't in that niche, right? You're interviewing for HR role and whatever name it's called, HR manager, HR director, whatever role it's called. But the bottom line is, for example, this is an HR role you're interviewing for. They want to hear you talk about time to hire. Those are keywords, industry specific terms. So I'm being asked a question. How I would hire. I'm talking about, time to hire. I'm using that terminology. I'm using the terminology talent pipeline. I'm not just saying the list of applicants. So both of them may be the same word, talent pipeline, pipeline, and list of applicants. They may be the same thing, but one is a layman's use, the other is somebody who is in that profession. That's a professional terminology. So you want to use those kind of terminologies. And while Choma was going giving one of those examples, trying a handout, for the content marketing, or is it digital marketing specialist role you talked about? I heard you say ROI and all of that. So that is what is expected of you. I once sent a candidate to the hiring manager for an interview, and the hiring manager was very, very disappointed in the candidate and in me, who is the recruiter. Now, the reason for that was, that was a director level role. It was HR director level role. And this candidate could not use one single terminology. At some points, the hiring manager got tired and said, I should join this session so that it doesn't look like, he's speaking on the particular candidate. He said, okay, you think this candidate is good, you push them, at least join the interview. And it was a waste of my time. And I was greatly disappointed. So these things are expected from you. You are attending an interview. Use industry-specific term. I just resumed a new role. When I resumed, the first thing I did was, go to meet my direct boss, who hired me for the role, by the way. And I'm like, well, I believe there's a reason you hired me for this role. Can you tell me what you expect from me and all of that? So she was like, well, you were not the only candidate who interviewed for this role. We had a lot of candidates, but something you said struck me during the interview, and that is the only reason I hired you. I'm like, wow, what is it? And she was like, you said during the interview, you are as HRO, Okay, so she said, you said, I said, as HR business partner, as HR, I am a strategic business partner. So there was this question that was asked. I can't remember the question very clearly, but it had to do with, so as HRO, employees are asking for some benefits and the company is not, disposed to having them, it's not at a good place yet to have employees all of such benefits. How will you handle it? Of course, employees are agitating while the management is not so disposed to have granting their request at that point. How would you handle it? I think not the direct question, but that's what it meant. And I was like, well, as HR, I wear more than one cap. So I would wear, there's a place where you wear the cap as one who is into employee relations. So you want to ensure that your employees are well taken care of. But at the same time, after speaking to my employees, I can put down that cap and wear another cap as the company's strategic business partner. So that was the word for her. And she was like, I had interviewed a lot of persons, even after you, I had interviewed a lot of persons, but that word struck me. And anytime we are having a conversation, she keeps saying it. So I expect you to be, a strategic business partner. And that is the reason I hired you. I hope we understand what I'm talking about, using industry-specific terminologies to sell yourself. Remember, an interview is a time where you have to sell yourself and you do not want to sell yourself short. So you want to make research on industry-specific terminologies and trends. You want to highlight relevant skills. A question is asked. You want to ensure that you answer that question, highlighting your skills when it relates to that question. For example, the question I said I was asked, and at some point I had to use a specific example of a similar situation of a company I had worked with, how I was able to, manage the employees when it came to, there was fair price hike, and employees were spending so much more than they would expect to be spending at that point because of the fair price hike. Now, what do you do as HR? Of course, the company is also spending more because of the fair price hike, but employees may not want to understand from that angle. They want to understand the fact that because there's fair price hike and my salary doesn't meet my needs anymore. So HRO, you have to speak to management to increase our salaries. But as HRO, you are also the strategic business partner for this company. And maybe our clients have not increased our contract rates. So you want to ensure that, I gave an example of how I was able to buy time and made employees see things from management angle as well, and that worked. Then we did some form of compromise. So you want to highlight your relevant skills in similar situations and experiences and how you were able to handle it. Because of course, if you've been able to do it before, it is believed that it's something you are able to do again if faced with such a situation. Then, of course, you need to understand common interview questions in your target industry. if I'm going for HRO manager or whatever interview, I would be expecting that, questions about goal setting, performance management, employee relations, being a strategic business partner, and all of that will be answered. I hope you understand me. So I hope you understand that part of this session, because it's very important. Well, I'll go ahead and summarize week one. We started from talking about types of interviews. We hammered on how to use the STAR method. We talked about some very common interview questions and how to answer them. We talked about how to use the STAR method perfectly. We talked about interview mistakes. There we covered non-verbal and body language, how to position yourself properly. Then, of course, we talked about salary negotiation. Salary negotiations and how to handle salary negotiations, what to consider. We talked about BATNA and WATNA, and how to accept a good deal so you don't end up shooting yourself on the foot. Then, of course, today we've handled certain few questions, having a mock interview. Just a few questions. We'll build up on these as time goes on. So that's where we have been all through this session, and we are summarizing what week one is for us. What we are coming to the end of week one, I would want us to keep these tips in mind. What to do before the interview, during the interview, and of course after the interview. We already touched on most of these, but like I said, have these in mind. So, of course, before the interview, you want to prepare, as preparation is key. Research and create your notes while you make your research. You want to get basic data concerning this company. And you need to understand that interviews are two-way streets. While you are being interviewed, you should be interviewing the company as well, because it should be somewhere that is good enough for you to work. You don't want to end up just anywhere, right? So interviews are two-way streets. So prepare your questions. I get cringy, and should I use that word, when I hear candidates say they do not have questions. It makes you look unprepared. Excuse me. It makes you look unprepared and not ready for the interview. So you want to prepare your questions so you can as well ask the interviewer. Could be questions relating to the role or to the company. But be careful with your questions so you don't end up selling yourself short, if I would say. I see sometimes at the end of the interview where candidates are being asked if they have a question, and all the questions they would ask are related to budget. You don't want to do that. While it's good to know what the salary is, your focus shouldn't be entirely on that. if you want to ask questions, you need to show passion for the role more than, asking questions on budgets. Of course, you want to make research concerning this company. I've interviewed candidates who say they don't know anything about the company, and I'm asking, so why are you here? Why did you attend this session? Why are you here? If you do not know your potential employer, why are you here? You should at least make some research on Google. If they have a website, cool. If they have a LinkedIn page, just get to know them. Because why would you want to be part of a team you do not know anything about? Then explore the app you'd use for the interview. Most interviews these days are conducted online thanks to COVID. You want to familiarize yourself with this tool that will be used for the interview. If it's something you've not used, for example, you want to practice. Some companies use Zoho for some companies use Zoho, some use Teams, others use Google Meet. Zoom is a very common one. Just in case any of whatever they are using is not something you're familiar with, my advice would be take time to first download it if you do not have it. If you are using your system, which I would expect you to, you want to as well use the web version of it and see how it works for you. So all of that is part of your preparation. Then you want to make sure that you join the section on time. I advise candidates to join interview session at least 10 minutes before the interview. One, it makes you not to feel tensed. That's one trick. It makes you not to feel tensed. And it helps you stay calm and composed. Then it gives you time to test your audio and your video and be sure everything is working perfectly. Then, of course, you want to, practice meditation or calming techniques. Just be calm. I see a lot of person from the question we asked when you were filling the form to join the bootcamp. A lot of person talks about nerve, being scared, and all of that. Like I said, just as you put to practice all of these things, you get stronger, you get better. So it's nothing to be worried about. A few hours before your interview, you can do something that calms you. And remember the last class I talked about a smile during the interview, before the interview. It helps you stay relaxed and better composed. Because if you are calm and collected, it will help you process whatever questions are going to be asked, and it will help you answer better. So this is before the interview. This is during the interview. You could decide to do this, going the extra mile. If you do this, it will you are putting yourself in the mind of the interviewer, so they remember you. So some persons may want to go the extra mile and prepare a virtual background. You can have virtual backgrounds now. So it's not like your background, if you are putting on your video, You can make researches on how to do that. You may not be able to use this even if we send this to you, because this is a PDF document, so you may not be able to use this, but we'll send it to you. You can try. Of course, during the interview as well, again, be punctual. Remember I said I would advise you show up 10 minutes early. It could be, whether it's virtual or not, you should be punctual. If it's an on-site interview, you want to take into account the fact that there may be traffic, there may be delays you really did not plan for. So you want to have a buffer time, a time that still allows you to get to the venue on time and being punctual. If it's a virtual interview, you want to join ahead, except sometimes you may want to join ahead, but whichever tool the company is using can only allow you in when the meeting has started. But at least you did try to join on time, so you want to do that as well. Then, of course, be polite. Be polite. I don't know how else to say this, but I've met some, not a lot, some very aggressive candidates, and they behave as if they came for war. You know, so many persons already have this bad idea about interviews, that you have to go for, it's a war zone. But this is wrong, because an interview is just a conversation between two parties. If it works out for you both, cool. If not, not a big deal. If it's a panel of interviews, for example, you can just greet everybody, good morning. If it's morning, good afternoon, good evening. Don't need to use titles. If you want to use titles, that's fine. But it's better to be on a safe side, because if you are using the wrong title for this person, they may feel some type of way. So be safe. A simple good morning might just work better than because I've seen people come for an interview and they're saying, good morning, Mrs. Eloho. I'm not Mrs. I never told you I was. But it's just, oh, good morning, Eloho. Mrs. I did not say I'm Mrs. And while it's not a big deal for me, it may be a big deal for some other persons. So you want to be careful there. Then, of course, be prepared. You know, you should expect all kinds of questions, easy, challenging ones as well. I think, was it Thursday or was it yesterday? I recommended somebody for a job and he had the interview. Either Thursday or Friday. I can't remember again. Just a few days ago. And after the interview, he reached out to me that it went well. I was asking the kind of questions he was asked. Very few easy questions. Most of the questions were technical questions. It's an IT role, and you know they're asking questions about if this and this happens, how are you going to troubleshoot? Walk me around this and that and that. So you need to be prepared. If it's depending on the field you are interviewing for, you need to be prepared for the kind of questions that are going to be asked. Remember, no company hires you because they like your face. They hire you because you can solve their problem, and they cannot. So you need to show them you can actually solve their problem. Then, of course, be positive. Nothing beats a positive attitude and atmosphere. Again, that's why I would always say smile. Smile lightens up, a smile lightens up the atmosphere. It makes it friendly. And again, interviews are friendly conversations. A smile will help you. Do not forget to smile. So you've prepared before the interview. You've done some work during the interview, and you want to work on, of course, after the interview. How do you go about it? So post-interview, I think we talked about this as well. You want to send you may want to send a thank you note or email. We talked about that yesterday, and I believe we understand what this is about already. You may want to send a note. In that thank you note, you're talking about what you learned, what you expect, and the fact that you're looking out for the next steps. Sometimes some candidates may want to ask, how did I do? If a candidate does that, personally, I give you a honest opinion. And it's, we are rooting for you. This is the end of week 1. Would continue with week 2 subsequently. Thank you again for joining this session, and we'll see you in week 2.